Hey guys, how's it going? It's Achon. Today I have a discussion video I've been wanting to make for a little while now. We are entering a new era of massively multiplayer online games. The era of the remastered MMO. The desire to capture nostalgia of the good old days has found its place amongst the void that is the modern MMO. Games such as Rift, wowclassic, Guild Wars, and EverQuest have seen improvements such as quality of life and graphic overhauls in an attempt to breathe new life into these otherwise niche titles. The relative success of WoW Classic and more recently Guild Wars has made waves within the industry. You can bet others will soon follow. Such is the nature of the beast. But is the relative success of these remastered titles a good thing for the industry, or are they signs that companies are giving up on MMO innovation? Me, personally, I've been pretty excited to talk about this, so give me a like and sub, and let's get to it. Now, I've damn near tried every new MMO out there and find myself disappointed with almost every title in some way. Whether it's the constant flux of in-game cash shops, or glamour games that are pretty, but offer very little in substance. Most modern MMOs feel like shallow cash grabs, and this eventually leads to shutdowns in production or straight up cancellations. Some might tell you that you're old, that this is just what the gaming industry is now, and playing old MMOs is just you chasing a nostalgia you once had 20 years ago. But in my opinion, that's a lazy excuse. We just strayed so far away from the ideology that made those games great. At some point, we just accepted the changing gaming industry without pushback. Things feel different lately though. People have been very vocal with their complaints. To the point, larger gaming companies such as Blizzard are actually attempting to accommodate their players by implementing features or just making small improvements. Let's explore these mechanics and why it's worth taking a look back at them. No flying mounts. Recently, there was a movement for no flying mounts in World of Warcraft Midnight Expansion.
And it looks like it's a simple change, that Blizzard have just unlocked steady flight all over the place. But buried inside this otherwise unsuspecting blue post, Blizzard actually did something a bit unusual, and it's kind of exciting. They responded to a player movement. If you're wondering which, it is this one. Basically, in this video, we covered the no-flying movement that's appeared in Midnight. It's one where players are choosing to stay grounded, and they are basically loving it. It's not a small group of people either. There is clearly a real hunger for exploring the world slowly, drinking it all in, and perhaps having an experience that feels a bit closer to when you were exploring Azeroth for the first time all those years ago. And it seems this has caught on so much that Blizzard have taken notice.
I was absolutely elated when I saw that people were purposely choosing not to fly from quest to quest. They chose to ignore the quality of life that is flying to actually enjoy the world developers work so hard on. Because of this movement, there are rumors that Blizzard might implement something in the next expansion that might resemble that experience. The non-flying mount is an archaic MMO element. Some of these games don't utilize a mount system, and yet they still have a decent following. The philosophy was that everyone wanted the Lord of the Rings Hobbit adventure that we became so fond of, because when you're slowed down, you take in more. The worlds feel larger. Challenges are set in front of you, and you simply can't fly past the content. This example alone attests to the fact that people want something more than the status quo, realizing that exploring the world is a journey that everyone can embark on and offers its own set of challenges that improve the overall feeling of the world. In my opinion, it's absolutely in the best interest for MMO developers to consider limiting flying mounts in some way, like a time limit or make it a true in-game feature instead of something available all the time. I could go all day talking about this, but let's talk about these other remastered titles and discuss the other often non-mentioned features that made them so much fun to play. Difficulty in the social experiment. Games like EverQuest, Guild Wars, and even WoW Classic were relatively hard, at least to the point where you soon realized you were not soloing content for very long. You had to talk to people. It's a simple but lost art these days. All you had to do was simply say hi to a stranger and ask them for help. Next thing you know, you have a friend. You formed bonds and eventually overcame challenges with a full party of people. That party formed a guild and lifelong relationships after, all because it was necessary to group up in the first place. As time went on and games got older, it became clear that changes had to be made to keep people around or attract newer players. Initially, the idea was to lower difficulty by utilizing NPC party members, or by making your character super strong right out the box. I don't think developers realized how this trivialized their world and experience. Furthermore, most of the aged MMOs have veteran players settled into the endgame, leaving newer players struggling in the beginning. So how do we keep difficulty and player retention at the same time? That's a topic I want to touch on in another video. For now, when it comes to remastered MMOs, you're just going to have to find a lane. Guild Wars provides a great solo experience with NPC players, and EverQuest Legends is boasting a full solo adventure. We are humans, and to some degree, we crave social interaction. The game could look like Project Oregon or EverQuest, but the social aspect can absolutely elevate your experience beyond graphic fidelity. Otherwise, the world starts to feel lonely. It's okay to play alone as well. Some of us spend all day talking to people, and we just want a world to persist in. I believe there are ways to blend the social and solo experience in an organic way. Next, I want to touch on combat and the stigma that comes with tab-targeted games. If you are relatively new to MMOs, you are probably used to the Black Desert Online, New World, and ESO action combat style. But what if I told you that action combat attributed to the ruin of modern MMO gaming? What if I told you that you could still have fun without the high-octane, in-your-face, mouse-bashing action? If you don't believe me, then ask anyone that's spent meaningful time in a tab-targeted game. I'm talking about another element that comes with slower methodical gameplay. Strategy and preparation. It's about actually communicating with your party and combining the individual strengths to overcome challenges.
Okay, Kenny, add Eyes of the Beast to your hotbar. Stan, check your Fury talents to boost your shouts. Got it?
Think of monsters in a D&D game. What is the monster type? What is it weak against? What attacks does it do? And what buffs can we apply to protect ourselves? These are elements you don't see utilized often in modern MMOs anymore. Everything is dodge the big red AoE and bust through your button rotation as quickly as possible on monsters that are basically just pools of hit points. It has me asking the question every time. How long can you play like that before you get absolutely bored out of your mind? The most popular remasters are all tab targeted. Your skills tend to be used situationally. If you pull too many mobs, the mage sleeps the group. If the monster is undead, then a cleric steps up with light magic. Even these elements are often missing in modern tab targeted games, and eventually everything gets boiled down to a one button rotation. Utilizing your class's individual skills is a rewarding feeling, and it's just another reason we tend to flock to older MMOs. This also ties in with proper communication, further improving your social experience. A good action combat MMO is rewarding in its own way. I prefer to switch my auto attacks and blocking to an active style over the usual tab targeted auto feature, if I could. And if I had it my way, I'd prefer a blend of action combat with added layers of skills to use strategically with challenges that call upon your class's individual strengths. These are just a few examples of small changes that could be made that drastically improve player retention. And with the fall of modern day MMOs, I find myself enamored with the prospect of once again enjoying the games that once brought me so much joy. The point in even making this video to me is that we should be looking back at what made MMOs so great in the first place, and keep the conversation alive so that maybe one day we could get a modern version of WoW that feels like it used to in the early 2000s. And if not, then I'll be happy with playing what I love now, while we watch games like New World and Ashes of Creation sink to the bottom of our memories. Anyway, let me know what your opinion on this topic is in the comments. I'm curious to see what you think. Should we be looking back to improve the future, or keep doing what we are doing now? Thanks again for watching. I'm Achon. Peace out.